Hi, it's Will McTavish, and we're back checking out part 2 of this making a pad from anything tutorial. Check out the previous video if you want to see the basic setup of how this works. There's nothing really different from before as far as effects and how we've set up the sampler for this. So check that out if you want to know how that all came to be. So last time we were creating this out of 2 octaves of a D from a sitar. So still a very musical example. So in this one, we're going to use a completely different source. What I'm using here is a quick audio clip that I recorded some time ago of like the end of an electric toothbrush on the lid from a cookie tin. And I recorded this to use it layering to do stuff with like a respace, but it's found its way back here. So this is the sound. That's really all there is to that. So I've loaded it in the sampler here. Again, everything's pretty much set up. I've turned the reverb and delay off for the moment. So just from playing with the envelopes that we had before and the filter, we're down to this. So it's a little sketchy sounding, but it's there. Of course, once we throw on our effects, it's starting to sound more drastically paddier. I'm just going to go ahead and turn the whole thing up. That's pretty quiet. So for this one, the low-pass filter, setting things a little bit lower, that top clangly sounds, we don't really need as much of that. It's going to stay a little cleaner if you keep the filtering lower. Although even that downward sweep kind of sounded cool. That's pretty much it. So it's a bit more metallic. It's a little more ominous sounding. You might not want to use it in the happiest kind of tune, but it just goes to show something totally kind of ridiculous as a sound source has turned into a pretty workable pad with pretty minimal effort. Now, the one thing with this is it's a fairly indeterminate pitch, just by virtue of what the source sound is. There is a little bit of it, though. If we turn off our effects here and we play it on the keyboard a little higher up, you can hear there is actually a pitch happening there. So if you wanted to, you can go through and get this kind of finely tuned so that it's playing properly across the keyboard and treat it as such. But it's also kind of handy to have something like this in your stable of patches that can be used just about anywhere, and it's not going to mess with tuning or anything too much. So I'm not going to dive into that, but it's just a matter of tuning by ear pretty much. So that's pretty much it. Try this with whatever kind of weird sources you can find, samples, stuff that you actually record, and just with some creativity and pretty basic patching, you can get a pretty cool pad sounding going, which is good for all sorts of genres and things. So thanks for stopping by, subscribe, check out some other videos, and thanks for watching.